So before I start with anything basic, let's just say, to start from this one, there's dimensions, worlds, and then there's planets and universes, okay? But the thing is, the worlds are the universes. And there's things with dimensions with worlds inside of them, which are like, I don't understand if they're inside the CW verse or outside of it still. At least the dimension ones. The other ones are outside of it. Because there's pages explaining how there's different time axes, a different timeline, or a different, era. It always has its own laws, its own rules, and they're separate from the CW. And then there's some that are dimensions that have worlds inside of them, but they're still connected to the CW in some way. Because everything is connected by reincarnation, by the looks of it. From the looks of the entire universe, reincarnation is connected to everywhere in the universe, but nothing runs on the same time axis, ever. You have worlds that have there's spiritual worlds, physical worlds, semi-spiritual. There's a lot of worlds, Belgren went to some of them, but so we do know for a basis of the cosmology that there is a multiverse in the world, in the universe of Tinshra. There is a multiverse. Don't know where it would scale. I would have to look that up. But each thing is self-enclosed, which is self-enclosed space-time with its own rules, which is a definition of a universe. And then you have these things people are calling these worlds planets. They're not planets. Planets don't have their own space-times and laws. Maybe for like a special case, I don't know if there could be one, but as far as I know, it doesn't have its own planets and its own universe in one little world. And dimensions look like they're just dimensions with a universe inside of it. So I mean, it's like a universe inside inside of the CW universe. So like universe upon universe. And then I want to talk about a certain page I saw for Volume 11. If you guys have watched it or read it, in Volume 11, Chloe explains that she has gone back to time almost a near infinite amount of times, because she's gone through an infinite amount of life and death cycles. Let's put that there now. But I don't know if the creator forgot how time works, or it's just like maybe Chloe and Hinata are dumb, or Belgren as well. Belgren, her, and Hinata is dumb, because how they're going is like Chloe even admits it, that she always makes a different choice, or she tries to change something up. The thing is, every time you make a different choice, you make a new timeline. It's just how time is fragile. It's never going to be a straight roundabout. Even if it's a higher 4D, 5D, 7D time, it doesn't fucking matter. Time is always considered fragile in the fictional universe. So, I think there is infinite time. They don't admit it, but I think there is. Because the thing is, that's how it works. DC had explained it, Marvel has explained it. You making one choice and the other one's making the other, you already made a whole nother timeline. And we have to remember, Chloe saved Rimuru. Rimuru dies in every timeline, meaning she made a whole new timeline just where Rimuru lived. So that means there's multiple timelines, and a near infinite amount, since she literally said she was in an infinite death and life cycle. I don't remember if I put it in the pages here. I'll check it out in a moment, but she did say she was in an infinite death life cycle. Now, we also know that there are spiritual worlds and there are physical worlds. Spiritual worlds, I always thought would be like a 5D or 4D type of thing, because they're like higher space times. So it made more sense if it was like, because spiritual worlds is always considered a higher realm than a physical one. So I don't know if that counts as like a higher, if that counts as a higher space time. I'll look that up in a moment, and I'll put it right here. But I do know it is technically stronger than what a physical would be. And there's physical and spiritual all around there. Then you have subspace. Subspace is a higher form of space-time. It is distortion, space-time, where space-time is distorted and everything. But that's where all the universe is, all this trash, things called that can transcend space-time, roam around that spot. So, I mean, subspace is like this huge space with digital particles, worlds, dimensions, they're all just floating around that spot. World between worlds, to say. So, subspace is a higher form of space and time, which, if we're just going with saying that Tinshra is just a 4D regular universe, which I'm going to say it's not, it really isn't. we have to remember that means that makes that 5D because it's a higher form of space-time. It always will be. It's higher dimensionality up there. And then we have like literally the labyrinth is connected to about 100 different worlds and dimensions, so different universes. So that's already 100 plus different universes. And if we're talking about time, you would have to tell me that the CW is a higher form of time, the CW universe itself. Because usually the slower the time is compared to other timelines, it usually means it's a higher time. It's a higher, space-time. As I was watching the definition for it, well, I was reading that. I'm going to have to show it in a moment. But it is another sign for a higher space-time. And then that's why I was also saying that if that's a higher space-time, then so is subspace is even higher than that. But subspace so far is the only thing we know that's there. And then we have, heaven pretty much there, the promised land, which I know exists because of volume 11 and them going there. So I don't know much about it, but this is probably going to be the end of this version of the video. We also know some characters can view a lower dimensional plane as fiction, or as a plaything, like Velgrin did when she started traveling the worlds and everything. So I mean, we could see that also as them being a lower spatial thing, because this time is only at 3D, and then you have the physical at 1D, blah 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 blah, or what's it, 1D time is 1D, and then 3D is physical. But how Valkyrie sees it is that they're pretty much just a weak planet. Everything's pretty much weak to her. Everything's weak, or even just barely below what she's used to. So she has to hold that back through the whole series. So I mean, maybe that helps.